Welcome to the Nameless.
The calendar said 3 years had passed. The mirror said I never left the dream. I was standing in my bathroom, still groggy, reading the date on my phone over and over because it didn't feel right. The numbers looked clean and sharp, like they had been typed directly into my eyes. I remember touching the sink to ground myself. The porcelain felt cold, but not as cold as it should have. When I looked up, my reflection lagged behind me by half a second. Just enough for me to notice. Just enough to make my stomach tighten. At the time, I told myself I was still adjusting. That was the excuse everyone else used, too. Before everything happened, my life had been painfully average. I worked tech support for a mid-size insurance company, mostly remote. Long hours, quiet apartment, the kind of routine where days blur together, but nothing ever actually goes wrong. I lived alone in a one-bedroom unit on the 3rd floor of an older building outside Phoenix. The air conditioner rattled. The neighbor upstairs paced at night. It wasn't great, but it was stable. I had always been a vivid dreamer. Nothing special, just the kind of person who woke up remembering fragments, faces without names, places that felt borrowed. Around my late 20s, I started reading about lucid dreaming. It sounded harmless. People online talked about it like a hobby. Control your dreams, practice awareness, wake yourself up gently. I figured it might help with my insomnia. At first, it worked. Too well, actually. I learned to recognize small tells. Light switches that didn't work, text that shifted when I looked away, the feeling of gravity being just a little off. Once I noticed those things, I could take control, fly a little, change rooms, wake myself up when I wanted. That part is important. I could always wake up. Until the night I didn't. I went to bed like normal, no stress, no substances, nothing different. I remember lying on my back, listening to the hum of the AC, feeling that familiar sinking sensation as sleep took over. Then I was standing in my apartment. Everything looked right. The furniture was where it should be. The clock on the microwave read 2:17. I walked to the window and looked out at the parking lot. The same cars, same flickering light near the dumpster. I tried a reality check out of habit. I flipped the bathroom light switch. It turned on. That had never happened before. I remember laughing, actually laughing out loud. The sound echoed strangely, like the room was a little too big for my voice. That was when I noticed the hallway door was open. I always kept it closed at night. I stood there for a long time, staring at that dark rectangle, telling myself it didn't matter. Dreams were unpredictable. Lucidity wasn't perfect. Still, I didn't want to go down the hall. The thought of it made my chest feel tight, like I was already out of breath. So I decided to wake up. I did what always worked. I closed my eyes and focused on my real body. The weight of the mattress, the sound of the AC. Nothing happened. I tried again, harder this time. Panic crept in, thin and sharp. The apartment around me didn't fade. It felt solid, heavy. From the hallway, I heard footsteps. They weren't loud, just slow, careful, like whoever it was didn't want me to know how close they were. I don't remember deciding to run, but suddenly I was in my bedroom, slamming the door shut, twisting the lock. My heart was pounding so hard it felt fake, like my body was overdoing it. I backed away until I hit the bed. Then I woke up. I was actually awake that time. Morning light through the blinds, my phone buzzing with an alarm. Everything normal. I laughed again, more out of relief than humor, and went about my day. But the dream didn't stay where it belonged. That night, I dreamed again. Same apartment, same time on the clock. The hallway door opened. I didn't hear footsteps this time. Instead, there was a low sound like breathing coming from everywhere at once.
I tried to wake up immediately. I couldn't. The third night, the hallway light was on. The fourth, the bathroom mirror showed the hallway behind me, even when the door was closed. By the end of the first week, I was afraid to sleep. I started leaving lights on, music playing. I tried sleeping on the couch, then the floor. None of it mattered. Every time I fell asleep, I went back there. Same place, same time, always 2:17. During the day, things started slipping. I'd catch myself staring at nothing for minutes at a time. Words would repeat in my head without meaning. Once, while brushing my teeth, I realized I couldn't remember if I had already done it. I stood there until my gums hurt, just to be sure. People noticed. My manager asked if I was okay. My sister called more often. I lied to everyone.
How do you explain that you're afraid to go to sleep because something might be waiting for you in a dream? The dreams changed slowly. The figure in the hallway never fully appeared, but its presence felt closer each time. Objects moved when I wasn't looking. Doors led to rooms that didn't exist in my real apartment. And the mirrors were the worst. They stopped reflecting what I was doing. They showed me standing still, even when I moved. Sometimes they showed me asleep in my bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. I started leaving notes for myself before bed. Simple things. If you see this, you're awake. The date is real. I taped them to the walls. In the dreams, the notes were there too, but the handwriting wasn't mine. The last thing I remember before everything went dark was waking up, or thinking I did, on my bathroom floor. My head was pounding. The mirror above the sink was fogged, like someone had just taken a hot shower.
Written in the steam were 3 words. You stayed too long. After that, there's a gap. No dreams, no waking, just nothing. When I came back, I was in a hospital bed. They told me I'd been in a coma for 3 years. I had collapsed at home, severe dehydration, malnutrition. Somehow, I had survived. My sister was there, older than I remembered, crying and laughing at the same time. Doctors talked to me in careful voices, like I might break if they spoke too loudly. Everything felt wrong, too sharp, too bright. Time moved strangely, like it was skipping frames. But I was awake. I was sure of it. Until the first night they let me sleep alone. I dreamed of the hospital room. The machines were quieter, the lights dimmer. The door to the hallway was open. I didn't hear footsteps. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, unable to move, feeling that same tightness in my chest.
When I woke up, the nurse said I'd been calling for help in my sleep, saying the same sentence over and over. It's still here. They discharged me a few weeks later. Physical therapy, counseling. Everyone agreed the dreams were a trauma response, my brain trying to make sense of lost time. I moved into my sister's guest room. I didn't trust my old apartment. I didn't trust being alone. At first, things improved. The dreams faded. I started sleeping through the night. I even went a few days without thinking about 217. Then I noticed the mirrors again. Sometimes when I passed by one too quickly, my reflection didn't follow right away. Sometimes it smiled when I didn't. Once I saw it standing behind me, closer than it should have been. The calendar still said it was 3 years later. My body felt weaker, older. But every now and then, usually late at night, I'd catch a smell I remembered from the dream. Stale air. Like a room that hadn't been opened in a long time. Last night, I woke up to the sound of breathing. It wasn't loud, just slow, careful. I didn't open my eyes. I didn't move. I focused on the weight of the bed, the sound of my sister's TV down the hall. When it stopped, I checked my phone. 2:17. This morning, I stood in the bathroom and looked at myself for a long time. My reflection looked tired, hollow, like it hadn't slept in years. When I turned away, I swear it stayed there, watching me. The calendar says I woke up. The mirror still isn't sure.